Hi everybody, and welcome back to Crypto Simplified. In this video, I shall be completely ignoring the bloodbath in the market and focus on something positive here. We have some great developments happening in this space, even though it's not really reflecting in terms of market movement. This video is about NEX, NEO's very own decentralized exchange. However, before I get into this video, we have started the march towards 900 subs, and I want to thank you all so much for this incredible support. Please keep telling all your friends, and if you're new here, why not hit that like button? I'd love to have you on board as a subscriber. Got two disclaimers today before we start the video. Firstly, I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. I'm just sharing my research with you so that you can then start your own research before thinking about investing in any cryptocurrency projects. Second disclaimer, that this is an ICO project. Of course, you know about the risks of investing in cryptocurrency. Augment both the risk and the reward, and that's what you have in ICO. So please be extra careful. Please do extra research to ensure that you're putting your money in a place that you believe will get returns. So without any further ado, let's jump right into this. If we need to understand what NEX is actually going to be offering us, we need to understand how the world of exchanges currently works. First up, let's have a look at centralized exchanges. We all know these. We all use them. This is how most of us trade cryptocurrency. Binance, KuCoin, Bittrex, just name it. Most of these are centralized exchanges. The most visible exchanges tend to be centralized, and that is because having an exchange is ludicrously profitable. These guys take money from you with every trade as well as with withdrawals. So of course they have all that money to put back into their system so that they can advertise and get in more users. Because these sites have such large user bases, high volumes of cryptocurrency assets will be traded on these platforms. Therefore, because there are more people trying to trade, the prices will become more competitive. Some of these centralized exchanges also offer fiat trading pairs, and when companies offer fiat trading pairs, that means that they have to meet a lot of government requirements, among them KYC, AML. You probably have to give in your identity card or passport, as well as, in some cases, a selfie with you writing down the name of the exchange on a piece of paper so that you can actually prove that it is you doing the trades and you're not actually cleaning money for some other bad actor in society. However, there are lots of drawbacks to using centralized exchanges. Among them is you do not hold your private keys. Therefore, if the exchange decides to get malicious and run away with your money, there's nothing you can do to stop them. Of course, you can try and get the legal courts and all into that, but that's a long process and your money's already gone. Another implication for you not holding your private keys is that someone else has private keys, and on exchanges, all these assets of similar kinds are kept in unified wallets. Of course, exchanges are trying to take measures to reduce the risk of this happening, but they are still major targets for hackers. It's happened in the past. It most definitely will happen again. In short, if you use a centralized exchange, you are relying on a third party to act completely honestly in your best interests in order to put two parties together. This is not unlike banks today. So, if you don't like centralized exchanges too much, you have a few other options as well. These are decentralized exchanges. These are not as pretty as centralized exchanges. They don't have some of the functionality of centralized exchanges, such as limit orders. They also don't have anywhere near as many users because they're harder to use, as well as not having the same sort of marketing budgets to acquire more users onto their platform. However, there are a few significant advantages to decentralized exchanges. Among them are early asset listing, especially when it comes to ERC20 tokens on Ether Delta. Another major advantage are low to no fees. Of course, no fees are a bit of a stretch, but low fees are most definitely possible since the fees only consist of the gas being used to power the smart contracts. And that's where the biggest advantage of decentralized exchanges lie. There is no third party ensuring that the trades are honest and that people are actually trading assets that they hold. All trades happen on smart contracts. The trade is only executed when two parameters that have been specified in the trade are met. If used correctly, decentralized exchanges are safer, even though there is slightly more potential for error if people aren't used to the interface. This all leads to one major question, which is, why do we trade decentralized crypto assets on centralized exchanges? So while we have options in the decentralized exchange space, there doesn't seem to be one that is a nailed on better alternative to Binance. That's basically it. The centralized exchanges are offering a much smoother experience, and companies like Binance and Bittrex have proven track records. Nothing's gone wrong yet, and if something does go wrong, the companies are very quick to fix it, and that's because they have all this capital on hand to hire the best possible people. So the folks at City of Zion, the major people behind the Neon wallet, as well as other parts of the Neo ecosystem, want to bring a very important part to this Neo smart economy, and that will be NEX. They want NEX to be a cornerstone of this smart economy, and a part of the smart economy will be an easy way to exchange tokens that aren't necessarily just on the Neo platform. So they want to enable trades between NEP5 and ERC20 tokens using an off-chain matching engine. Therefore, this doesn't rely on a blockchain's transaction capacity. Rather, all these trades are being matched off-chain and executed on-chain when parameters are met. A major current drawback to decentralized exchanges are the inability to use fiat trading pairs, because there is a lot of anonymous trading happening on here. All people need to trade on those platforms are addresses that enable smart contracts. So NEX wants to provide the best of both worlds with banking partnerships to enable fiat trades based on a smart contract platform. They want to make using their platform easier by implementing a browser extension not unlike MetaMask. And finally, they want to offer dividends for people staking NEX tokens. I've used the word dividends for a specific reason. We shall get to this a little later on in the presentation. As I said earlier, this is an ICO project, and the folks launching this project do have a very specific way of looking at ICOs, and they sort of hope that these will be the new ICO standards going forward. Among the rules for their ICO was that there was no private pre-sale, even for the strategic investors. There are a few strategic partners involved in this project, but none of these folks got any special leeway. Participation in this ICO took whitelisting to another level with the use of a lottery. So instead of relying on the first come first serve with really high gas prices for participation, only a certain number of people were allowed to participate. This was done alongside KYC regulations, using the RPX token sale as a bit of a guideline where it was heavily oversubscribed. NEX wants to have automated refunds, so if the smart contract is not immediately executed, the people participating and trying to send funds to the smart contract will be refunded automatically. And the last point is that they want to have a staged sale. So in case initial targets are not met, they will have a second sale with people who were not initially chosen from the lottery winners. They want to use this to make it completely fair and completely random to ensure that this token gets as distributed as possible. So all these ideas seem very promising, but we need to look into the team behind these ideas. Of course, all their LinkedIn profiles will be found in the description, but you can see this core team of 5 founding members are all part of City of Zion. These are one of the largest, most active contributors to the Neo community, and these folks really mean business. These are the folks that designed what I believe is a flawless wallet in Neon. Unlike the staking requirements for other projects, you do not need to be constantly connected to the internet. All you need to do is put your tokens in the Neon wallet, and you can still get all the benefits of staking, i.e. the gas generation. So do look into all these people's profiles individually, because they are all fantastically experienced, highly qualified, and I really believe that these folks are very, very important for the overall cryptocurrency community going forward. I've got similar levels of praise for their advisors. On the far left, we have Muzamil Zaveri, one of the leading global venture capitalists, highly active with Tencent, a major Chinese company. The other two advisors should be no strangers to you, especially if you've seen my ontology video. These two folks are major parts of the NEO Council and are members of On-Chain. If you'd like more information on that, check out my ontology video over here. Next up, let's have a look at the partnerships. And all these partners are major legal, financial, and consulting players in the European markets. Of course, there's one undisclosed partner, probably due to an NDA, but the ones who are listed are all very, very important players. Links to their websites in the description, so you can read up more about them if you like. So, having said all this about the people behind the project, let's look at the actual token itself. And this is where I come to my talk on the dividends. This token is a security. You know that in the US there's currently lots of debates about the nature of crypto assets. A lot of people are saying that their tokens are utility tokens, but NEX are definitively saying that their token is a security. As a result, there are further complications, but having all those strategic partners on board who are specialists in this field will definitely help them make sure that they're sticking to all the requirements from global governments. This security token can be staked in a smart contract, and similarly to KuCoin shares, holders of these tokens will get a share of transaction fees from the network. Of course, they want to keep these transaction fees as low as possible, but there will still be transaction fees to move things around on this network. NEX wants to encourage staking and are offering 25% returns as a base fee for staking, with up to 75% returns on your staked tokens within a 2-year period. 50% of these tokens will be made available in the token sale. I shall get more into the token economics a little bit later. But for now, let's have a look at this company's roadmap. And we are currently in Q2 of 2018, and several milestones are expected to be met in this time. Among these developments are the launch of the matching engine and the trading interface on the NEX testnet, as well as the actual participation in the token sale. It hasn't happened just yet. More on that in the next slide. More on that in the next slide. And then in Q3, the matching engine and trading interface will hopefully be launched, as well as the capabilities for cross-chain conversion, as well as the launching of the staking smart contracts. Q4 will bring with it the capabilities to trade security tokens, as well as advanced trading features such as stop losses and all those things, as well as finally the integration of cross-chain support for Bitcoin, Litecoin, Red Pulse token, and NEX. As I mentioned earlier, the token sale hasn't actually happened, and that's because they're awaiting the Financial Market Authority's approval. This is a security token and it has to be passed by this body. The team expects this to happen in May, but they don't really know just yet. Next up, let's have a look at the token sale numbers. And the price of each NEX token will be pegged at $1 US. 25 million tokens will be on sale, therefore the hard cap is 25 million US dollars. We do know the volatility of cryptocurrency prices with respect to the dollar. Therefore, the NEO and gas prices will be calculated using a 10-day moving average, just to ensure that people get a fair price. The token distribution is also fairly transparent and straightforward, with 1% going to employees at NEX, 4% going towards funding company initiatives, 10% to the partners, 15% to the NEO Council, 20% to the founders, which will be locked up for 2 years, and then of course 50% to the public. So that's all the info I'd like to give you. Let's have a look at a quick summary of what NEX is all about. I split it up into positive, neutrals, and negative, and you can see that there is some intense crowding on the positive side. I think this team is an absolute dead certainty. I have complete faith in their ability to put out projects that are solid. The presence of top-level advisors adds further belief in my mind that I think that this has all the solid foundations needed to be a long-term success. The lack of highly funded competition is currently a major advantage. However, with Binance launching their own decentralized exchange, this could change, and it could be very interesting to see how NEX and Binance's decentralized exchange fight for space within this decentralized market community. While I think that this ICO lottery is a really good way of ensuring fair participation, I'm slightly in favor of what WePower did with the contribution cap, because that just ensures that the tokens get as distributed as possible. Of course, people who have a lot of money to spend in this market can, of course, accumulate more tokens when these things get listed on exchanges. But I do think that this ICO lottery encourages people accumulating large sums, especially if they are the lucky ones to make the whitelist. And lastly, the only negative point that I have, or potentially negative point that I have, is liquidity. There is no way that an exchange can guarantee high liquidity, and on a decentralized exchange, this could potentially be a problem. However, with all the hype surrounding this project, I do hope that they can get enough users on this platform to give competitive prices, unlike the existing exchanges. So that's it from me. This is Marv from Crypto Simplified signing off. Do leave a like if you enjoyed this video. Do leave me some constructive criticism if you didn't. I'd love to hear what you folks have to say. What are your thoughts on NEX? If you're one of the lucky ones who won the lottery, how much do you think you're contributing? If you are unable to contribute in this token sale, what do you think is a maximum acceptable price to pay for these NEX tokens? Do let me know. Having said all that, that's it from me. This is Marv from Crypto Simplified signing off. You take care. Laters.